They won't respect you until you make them. Power doesn't wait for permission. It assumes its place. Walk as if you are the best, and the world will adjust to fit that belief. That's not arrogance. That's strategy. That's Machiavellian psychology. People never see who you truly are. They see what you project. So project dominance. Project certainty. Project that quiet, lethal confidence that makes others doubt themselves. While they chase approval, you command control. While they ask for validation, you demand attention. Move like a king, calm, untouchable, inevitable. Remember this, a lion never declares he's the king. He acts like one, and the world simply knows. This is Machiavellian mode, where weakness dies and power is reborn. If you're ready to become untouchable, comment below. I act like the best because I am the best. Let the pretenders chase fame. You'll build fear, respect, and control. Because in this game, you either act like the best or become prey. Number 1, the illusion of superiority. Every empire begins as a delusion, an illusion of greatness carried by a man insane enough to believe he's destined for more. But when that illusion is fueled by discipline and cold precision, it becomes reality. The weak wait for proof before they act. The powerful act first and force the world to create proof afterward. When you move as if you're already the best, you condition others to view you through that lens. Confidence spreads like contagion. Authority becomes atmosphere. It's not about ego, it's about psychological dominance. People are drawn to certainty like moths to a flame, even if that certainty is an illusion. That's why you must master appearances. The look, the tone, the calm that says, I cannot be replaced. Remember, superiority isn't measured by truth. It's measured by perception. A man who appears unbreakable will always outrank one who is unbreakable but hides it. This is the essence of Machiavellian control. Rule perception and you rule minds. You don't need validation when your presence is validation. Every step you take should whisper, I belong above you. Comment this now. I move with the illusion of power until power becomes real. Because belief sustained long enough becomes fact. Number 2, the law of detachment. Power demands distance. Detachment isn't weakness. It's control in its purest form. When you detach, you stop bleeding energy into people, emotions, and chaos that don't serve your ascent. Most men drown in attachment to comfort, approval, and validation. They crave being liked more than being respected, and that's why they kneel. Detachment is the art of staying calm in fire, of witnessing betrayal and smiling, of facing loss and remaining still, of seeing the storm and not flinching. The Machiavellian mind doesn't react, it calculates. Emotion is the currency of the weak. Logic is the wealth of the powerful. You must become the cold observer, watching life like a chessboard. Every person a piece, every move strategic. Never let your mind chain itself to outcomes. The moment you're emotionally invested, you become predictable, and predictable men can be controlled. Detachment makes you unreadable, and unreadable men are feared. Speak little, reveal nothing. Stay unbothered under pressure. Let others panic while you remain still, sharper, colder, untouchable. The less you care, the more power you command. When they call you heartless, it means you've risen beyond their level. Detachment doesn't destroy your humanity, it refines it into steel. You become the man who decides what matters, not the man who reacts to what doesn't. That's how kings survive. That's how predators rule. The world feeds on emotion, starve it. Master this law, and you'll never be manipulated again. Comment this now, I control my emotions. My emotions don't control me. Remember, the one who feels least commands most. The one who needs nothing cannot be broken. Detachment is the armor of power. Once you wear it, nothing can pierce you. Number 3, the shadow of power. Every man wears 2 faces, the one he shows the world and the one he hides in silence. The first earns approval. The second earns dominance. The shadow within you, the hunger you've denied, the rage you've suppressed, is not your enemy. It is your unrefined power. Society teaches you to fear it, to stay harmless, to suppress your darker nature. But Machiavelli knew the truth. To rule others, you must first master the beast within. The weak fear their aggression. The strong discipline it, sharpen it, and unleash it with precision. Power doesn't come from kindness. It comes from understanding your capacity for destruction, balanced by control. A man who can destroy and chooses not to holds infinite power over one who simply cannot. Your shadow is your deterrent. It makes others think twice before crossing you. Channel it through discipline, not chaos. Let it burn quietly behind your eyes, a reminder that you're capable of anything, answerable to no one. When people sense that controlled danger within you, they'll respect you without a word. That silent dominance is the foundation of true command. Embrace your shadow, make it your ally, not your burden, because pretending to be pure only makes you weak. Purity without power is fragility. Real strength lies in duality, light fused with darkness, intellect fused with instinct. Learn to walk beside your inner wolf without letting it consume your reason. That balance creates an aura, the kind that unsettles the cowardly and inspires the ambitious. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered. Remember this. Every king, every conqueror, every visionary was once called ruthless. Comment this now. I master my darkness. My darkness serves me. When you own your shadow, you no longer fear judgment, betrayal, or opposition. You become whole, dangerous, unshakable, the embodiment of calm power disguised as composure. Number 4, the psychology of command. Command begins in the mind, not in the crown. It's not about wealth, status, or title. It's about psychological gravity, the kind of presence that bends a room without a single word. Every true ruler understands this. People don't follow logic, they follow authority. And authority is built through mastery of perception, tone, and unshakable self-belief. To command, you must speak with conviction, move with purpose, and radiate certainty even amid uncertainty. The world is a theater, and leadership is performance. Those who play the role best win. Machiavelli taught that it's better to be feared than loved, but the highest power is to be respected because you are needed. To reach that level, project strength through calm, confidence through silence, and control through restraint. The weak command attention by shouting, the strong command obedience by existing. Never beg for recognition. Force it. When you enter a room, own it as though you were born there. Every gesture, every word must declare, I am inevitable. Observe before you speak. Study weaknesses. Learn ambitions. Use their desires as levers. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. A calm mind terrifies the unstable because it cannot be influenced. Speak less. Listen more. Calculate everything. People will trust you because you remain unshaken. They will obey you because they feel safer under your control. And when you finally speak, make your words surgical, cutting through noise with precision. Remember, dominance is not aggression. It's composure sharpened into intimidation. The man who remains still under pressure will always lead those who crumble under it. You must become the principle of command, stoic, strategic, and immovable. While others chase approval, you secure position. While they seek understanding, you demand obedience. Empires are not built on emotion, but on controlled perception. Comment this now. I command through silence and certainty, because real command is never loud. It's quiet, deliberate, and absolute. Never chase validation. Make others crave your acknowledgement. Once you master the psychology of command, you no longer need to demand respect. Your presence alone enforces it. That is power in its purest form. Number 5, the art of manipulation. Manipulation is not evil. It's intelligence applied to human nature. It's the art of guiding perception, steering emotion, and bending outcomes without ever revealing your hand. Every powerful man in history was a manipulator, whether he wore a crown, a suit, or a smile. To manipulate is to understand that people are not rational. They are emotional, predictable, and ruled by ego. The Machiavellian mind wields this truth like a blade. Study what people crave, attention, validation, status, and feed it to them in measured doses that keep them loyal yet dependent. Never give them everything. Satisfaction kills leverage. The goal is to make them want what you choose to offer. The illusion of choice keeps them obedient while believing they're free. Never reveal your intent. Conceal it behind charm, wit, or false humility. The world praises authenticity, but most use it to mask weakness. You must become fluent in influence. Praise when it benefits you, withhold when it controls them. Your approval must feel like currency, rare, valuable, unforgettable. Never argue directly. The one who argues exposes insecurity. Instead, plant ideas like seeds and let time convince them those ideas were theirs. This is how you create followers without ever commanding them. To manipulate effectively, you must abandon moral rigidity and view humanity as a system of impulses waiting to be programmed. Appeal to pride when you seek loyalty, to fear when you need obedience, and to greed when you require movement. Remember, everyone believes they are the hero of their story, so position yourself as the one who makes that story possible. You're not deceiving, you're directing, you're not lying, you're aligning outcomes to your advantage. The difference between a manipulator and a fool is awareness. The fool gets played because he assumes sincerity. The manipulator endures because he assumes motives. Learn to read people like open scripts, their tone, posture, hesitation, and choice of words. Most reveal more than they intend. When you understand them better than they understand themselves, you become untouchable. They'll call you cold, cunning, ruthless. Wear those titles like armor. Comment this now. I control the game by controlling perception, because every interaction is a power exchange, and only the manipulator decides who wins. To master this art is not to deceive the world. It is to command it quietly, invisibly, completely. Number 6, the fortress of the mind. Power begins in the mind and ends there. Every victory you win, every empire you build, every rival you destroy, none of it lasts if your thoughts turn against you. The greatest conquerors were not defeated by armies, but by their own collapsing minds. The mind is the true battlefield, and most men walk into war unarmed. To become untouchable, you must construct a fortress within your mind, so solid that no insult, betrayal, or failure can breach its walls. This fortress isn't built on arrogance, but on ruthless self-mastery, the power to control your thoughts before they control you. Your emotions are soldiers, and your discipline is their general. If you fail to lead them, they will turn and destroy you from within. You must first learn to observe your thoughts without obeying them. Detach from the noise inside your head. Every weakness begins as a whisper: self-doubt, fear, guilt, envy. When those voices rise, silence them with action. The mind respects movement more than emotion. While others freeze in uncertainty, you move with cold precision. Action kills hesitation. This is the first law of mental dominance. Never negotiate with weakness. Crush it before it spreads. The fortress of the mind is built brick by brick, habit by habit. Each habit declares that chaos will not rule you. Wake early, not for discipline's sake alone, but because discipline is the foundation of authority. Strengthen your body, because a weak body breeds a weak spirit. Control what you consume. Food, information, conversation, everything that enters your system either fortifies or infects you. Guard your mind as you would guard a throne, because that's exactly what it is. Most men let others live rent-free in their heads. They obsess over words, opinions, moments that deserve nothing. You must rise above that. No one's judgment should weigh more than your own. When they criticize, stay silent. When they mock, stay composed. When they praise, stay detached. The fortress mind does not bow to either insult or applause. Approval is a chain. Break it. The mind built on mastery answers to no one's emotion, not even its own. To strengthen this armor, embrace solitude. Most fear silence because it confronts them with themselves. But solitude is the forge of kings. It is where your motives, ambitions, and demons reveal themselves. There you learn to turn pain into power, fear into focus. When you return from solitude, you carry a calm that unsettles the frantic. Your stillness becomes your weapon. The man who cannot be shaken mentally cannot be controlled. He becomes the unmoving pillar in a world of collapsing minds. Control your inner dialogue. What you repeat becomes your reality. The weak say, "I hope." The powerful say, "I will." Words are commands to your subconscious. Speak to yourself as a ruler commands his army, with certainty, with authority, with no hesitation. Every thought must serve the empire you're building. If it doesn't, exile it. The fortress mind allows no traitors. You must also master anticipation. The Machiavellian thinker plans 3 steps ahead, not out of fear, but to preserve control. Predict reactions, imagine failures, and prepare in silence. When others panic, you execute. That calm efficiency will appear godlike, but it's not mysticism, it's mental design. You have trained your mind to respond with strategy, not emotion. Remember this, the first strike of any enemy will always target your mind. They won't attack your body. They'll attack your certainty, your peace, your focus. That's why you must fortify it every day. Meditation, silence, structure, and unshakable self-control. These are your sentinels. They guard your gates from distraction, doubt, and emotional invasion. The fortress mind does not react, it decides. It does not crave comfort, it creates control. It does not crumble under pressure. It sharpens, hardens, becomes precise. This is the psychological edge the ordinary man can't fathom. While he complains, you calculate. While he panics, you prepare. While he hesitates, you move. You will be hated for this, misunderstood, labeled heartless or robotic. Let them talk. Their opinions are the noise beyond your castle walls. Inside, there is only order, silence, and command. Comment this now, "My mind is my fortress." No weakness can enter, because once this fortress stands, no one can conquer you. Understand this truth. No enemy outside is stronger than an undisciplined mind. When you master your inner world, the outer world bends to your will. That is the final stage of power, calm, unbreakable, eternal control. The man who owns his mind owns his destiny. The man who fortifies his thoughts becomes a kingdom unto himself, self-sufficient, untouchable, feared, and free. Number 7, the power of emotional control. Powerful men aren't those who feel nothing. They are those who control everything they feel. Emotional control is the invisible blade that divides kings from slaves. The world runs on emotional manipulation, fear, guilt, anger, pleasure, pride, and those who can't command their inner storms become toys for those who can. Emotional mastery isn't suppression, it's domination. It's taking rage, pain, and desire and converting them into focused, productive energy. While others drown in reaction, you stand calm, centered, cold, calculating. You become the still eye in the chaos. The Machiavellian mind does not flee emotion, it bends it to purpose. Every feeling is data, an internal signal you can use to advance or destroy yourself. Anger, when channeled, becomes force. Fear, when dissected, becomes awareness. Pain, when embraced, becomes endurance. But if you let emotion drive your actions, you become predictable, and predictability is death in the pursuit of power. The weak shout, argue, complain, and justify. The powerful listen, watch, and adapt. Silence is the sharpest weapon because it robs your enemy of feedback. They cannot read you, provoke you, or measure your weakness. This is emotional supremacy, showing nothing while understanding everything. You do not rise by being heartless. You rise by being strategically heartless. You feel deeply, then decide rationally. When emotion and reason clash, side with strategy. Empires endure under those who stay calm while others burn. Every provocation you ignore raises your power. Every insult you let die in silence deepens your dominance. The man who cannot be angered cannot be controlled. Emotional control begins with awareness. You cannot command what you cannot see. Observe yourself like a scientist. When anger flares, trace its source. When fear whispers, test its logic. When sadness drags, dissect the story feeding it. Emotions lose power under analysis. You strip their poison by exposing their mechanism. The average man flees his feelings. The powerful interrogate them until they yield purpose. Self-awareness is the first gate to mastery. Once you know your triggers, you can rewire them. Control demands restraint. The urge to react is the instinct of the powerless. Every reaction you give is a confession of weakness. People test your feelings to measure your strength. Never give them the satisfaction. The moment you remain calm amid chaos, you become the superior force in the room. Remember, power always belongs to the calmest man. The loudest seeks control. The quietest already has it. This is not philosophy, it's war psychology. The ruler keeps emotional distance even from allies. Never reveal what truly moves you. When others learn your buttons, they own you. Guard your inner world like a crown. Reveal only intention. Control also requires emotional transmutation. Suppression explodes. Redirection endures. Turn frustration into discipline, betrayal into focus, heartbreak into purpose. Emotional alchemy converts suffering into strategy. That is how you become unstoppable. Nothing can break you because anything thrown at you becomes fuel. The world expects collapse. You grow stronger, colder, sharper. That terrifies those who mistook you for fragile. Stoicism is not numbness, it is command. The knowledge you cannot always control events, but you can always control your response, and that response defines your legacy. Every ruler, conqueror, and survivor who outlasted his enemies mastered this truth. Emotion is power when owned, poison when unleashed. Let others drown in feeling. You will sail above them, precise and calm. Control is the currency of the elite. Cultivate it by training. Seek discomfort, face rejection without flinching, endure failure without complaint, sit in silence while chaos rages. Each resisted reaction forges another layer of armor until you are untouchable. Not because the world grew gentle, but because nothing moves you without permission. That is freedom. Emotional control is the bedrock of internal sovereignty. You stop depending on circumstances for peace and create peace from within, carrying it into every battlefield. Comment this now. I control my emotions. My emotions serve me. Repeat it until it is law. The man who commands his emotions commands his destiny. He is neither victim nor participant. He is the architect. No empire survives the chaos of an undisciplined heart. Rule your emotions, or they will rule you. In a world that profits from emotional chaos, calm is the rarest dominance. Be the silence in the storm, the man whose composure cannot be bought, shaken, or broken. Then and only then will you hold true power. Number 8, the strategy of influence. Influence is the invisible empire of power, the ability to move people without touch, to command without speech, to reshape reality through suggestion. True influence is not persuasion. It is possession of minds, loyalties, and motives. The Machiavellian knows control is won through belief, not force. Shape what others believe, and you shape what they do. The most dangerous man in any room is the one who guides belief without anyone noticing. Influence is psychological warfare dressed as charisma. You do not ask for compliance, you design it. Every word, every pause, every look must serve a plan. Plant ideas that grow in others until they act in your favor, convinced the choice was theirs. Influence begins with observation. You must study people until their reactions become predictable patterns. What do they crave? Validation, admiration, belonging, security, superiority. Every human is a puzzle, and emotion is the key piece. Once you identify their dominant desire, you hold the key to their obedience. Feed their ego to gain alliance. Withhold attention to demand submission. Reward sporadically to keep them chasing approval. Humans are conditioned creatures, driven by reward and punishment. The Machiavellian influencer engineers both. To influence well, master mirroring. People trust what feels familiar, not what is true. Reflect their tone, posture, and energy subtly enough that they feel understood. The instant they sense likeness, their defenses fall. When they open, guide the direction quietly. Never attack their beliefs. Reframe them. Suggest, never demand. Let your ideas feel like their own. Influence thrives in subtlety. The louder the attempt, the weaker the effect. Move within the shadows of their mind, not in confrontation's glare. Control the atmosphere. Influence is as much environment as dialogue. Your presence must project calm authority. People surrender easily to those who radiate certainty. Confidence hypnotizes. Hesitation repels. Every pause, every gesture must whisper control. Silence is your ally. It creates tension, and tension commands focus. When you finally speak, your words strike with gravity because they rise from composure. This is the art of dominance through calm. But influence is not mere manipulation, it is orchestration. You align motives, shape perception, and design the narrative others exist within. Create inevitability around your leadership. When people believe following you is the natural choice, resistance disappears. They obey not from fear, but from belief. That is true influence, when control feels like freedom. Emotional intelligence is your blade. Read micro-expressions, tone shifts, pauses, and sparks of emotion. Learn human rhythm like music. Influence flows best when you match their emotional tempo. Push when they crave approval. Withdraw when they crave space. Give neither too much nor too little. Balance is the essence. Too much charm feels false. Too much distance breeds distrust. The skilled influencer moves like the tide, calm, rhythmic, relentless. Influence must serve a higher strategy. Do not waste it seeking approval or emotion. Every interaction is an investment of power. Demand returns in advantage, loyalty, or knowledge. When you speak, plant seeds. When you act, shape perceptions. When you help with purpose. Generosity without strategy is weakness disguised as virtue. Every favor should bind another's loyalty. Every smile should hide intent. This is not cruelty, it is command. To sustain influence, remain unpredictable. Predictability breeds boredom. Mystery breeds reverence. Reveal only fragments, enough to intrigue, never enough to expose. People respect what they cannot define and fear what they cannot predict. Keep your motives veiled, your emotions still. When others cannot read you, they tread carefully, and careful minds are easy to steer. Influence decays when attachment grows. Depend on no single ally, follower, or admirer. Rotate your sources of validation and control. Keep all uncertain of where they stand. Uncertainty fuels effort, and those who seek your approval surrender their power. Comment this now. I move minds without being seen. This is the Machiavellian secret, and the real control is invisible. Influence is not open domination. It is the weaving of unseen strings that make the world move to your rhythm. When you master this, you stop chasing power. Power begins chasing you. Influence becomes your shadow. Loyalty becomes your currency, and the world bends quietly to your will. Number 9, the discipline of isolation. Every man's evolution reaches a point where noise poisons and solitude purifies. Isolation is not loneliness, and it is refinement. It is the fire where illusions burn and essence remains. Every ruler, thinker, and creator has known this. The crowd corrupts focus, and focus feeds power. Surrounded by noise, opinions, and validation-hungry parasites, your mind fragments. Solitude restores clarity. It burns away illusion and reminds you of what matters: control, vision, mastery. The weak fear isolation because it exposes their emptiness. The strong seek it because it magnifies their purpose. In silence, your mind becomes a mirror. You confront every fear, every doubt, every buried truth. You cannot deceive yourself when silence is your only witness. That is why most drown in noise. They cannot face reflection. But those who endure it become unshakable. Solitude filters distraction. It reveals what deserves your energy and what deserves indifference. In those long, quiet hours, your strategy sharpens, your ambition crystallizes, and your inner voice transforms from whisper to command. To cultivate isolation, you must remove the unnecessary. Distance yourself from those who drain your focus, from conversations that breed stagnation, from environments that dull your edge. Build sacred space, both physical and mental, where no weakness is allowed to enter. The modern world worships distraction. You must worship silence. Every notification ignored, every pointless debate left unanswered, every indulgence resisted becomes another layer of armor around your mind. The discipline of isolation is not about escaping the world. It's about mastering it from the shadows. You step back not to hide, but to observe, to decode, to see the patterns others miss in their noise. Power is born in the pause between action and reflection. Understand this, you are most lethal when silent. Let others flaunt their movements while you build unseen. The loud announce their intentions. The silent conquer. No one can destroy what they cannot detect. Secrecy is your protection. When your process is invisible, your success becomes inevitable. The world only witnesses the outcome, never the preparation. And that's exactly how it should be. Isolation breeds patience, sharpens timing, and reveals that true momentum is not speed, but direction. Learn to love your own company. When solitude shifts from emptiness to empowerment, you've reached mastery. The Machiavellian mind does not crave company. It commands it when useful and releases it when distracting. Detachment isn't cruelty, it's precision. You grant time only to those who bring value, and take time only when it multiplies your control. Discipline transforms solitude from exile to evolution. It is not punishment, it is preparation. Comment this now: I thrive in silence. I build in isolation. Because solitude is not absence, it is presence without interference. It is the forge where mediocrity dies and mastery is born. Every empire begins with one man alone, thinking, plotting, constructing. Isolation gives you immunity from manipulation and freedom from validation. When you no longer crave the world's noise can no longer steer you. Remember this: the crowd builds comfort. The lone mind builds kingdoms. The man who masters solitude becomes untouchable, for he no longer fears being alone. He fears only losing himself to distraction. Embrace silence. Command focus. Rise in ways they'll never see coming. Number 10, the rise of the untouchable. There comes a moment when a man ceases to chase power and begins to embody it. That moment is ascension, when he becomes untouchable. Untouchable is not a label, it is a frequency. It means you move beyond influence of emotion, opinion, or circumstance. You move through life like a silent storm, unseen, unstoppable, inevitable. Every insult, every doubt, every betrayal fades into static against the fortress of your discipline. You have built yourself from ruin, from isolation, from merciless control of self. You no longer seek the throne, you are the throne. The Machiavellian mind knows that true victory lies not in domination, but in invulnerability. To be untouchable is to be free, free from dependence on praise, approval, or permission. The world no longer defines you because you have written your own definition. You are the architect of perception, the master of reaction, the ruler of your own psychology. No guilt can weaken you, no emotion can distract you, no fear can command you. You play life like a grand strategist, not a desperate participant. Every move deliberate, every silence loaded with intent. Recognition no longer interests you, your existence itself demands it. The weak chase comfort as if it's peace. The strong create peace through control. That is ultimate dominance, serenity earned through self-mastery. Now you see why they fear you. The calm man terrifies them, for he cannot be read, provoked, or moved. They call your restraint arrogance, your silent superiority, and they're correct. You are not one of them anymore. You've risen beyond reaction, beyond validation, beyond the need to explain. You've become the standard they measure themselves against. This isn't myth, it's the reward of discipline. Every pain refined you. Every betrayal hardened you. Every failure forged calculation. You didn't escape suffering, you weaponized it. That is what makes you untouchable. The world cannot wound what it cannot control. Comment this now: I'm untouchable because I command myself. Let it etch into your consciousness like a creed. The untouchable man doesn't live without enemies. He simply stands beyond their reach. His silence his armor, his calm a blade, his will an empire. That is the Machiavellian mode, where power whispers, presence dominates, and control reigns absolute. So rise, walk with the poise of a king and the precision of a tactician. Speak rarely, act decisively, and remain unmoved by anything beneath your evolution. This is your ascension. You no longer chase greatness. You are greatness. The world yields to the man who does not flinch. Like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and declare your creed one final time. I am untouchable.